Okay, Parashat Vayikra. Vayikra. Yeah, it's a new book, which is what? Leviticus, which is the shortest Chumash, but with the most mitzvot in it. And in the beginning of Chumash Vayikra, which is the parasha, in the first parasha, we have the issue of bringing the korbanot, the sacrifice that they used to bring to. And there's a big argument between the Rambam and the Ramban, very famous. The Rambam holds that actually bringing the sacrifice, the lambs and goats, whatever it is, was really a technical necessity to cause Am Yisrael, the Jews that live among idols, right, to basically transform them into the belief into one God. And the way to really make them get them used to this kind of a belief goes through adopting rituals from the Avodat Elohim that was near that, because they used to bring it, exactly, and also just to kind of uproot it. Whatever you worship, now you're slaughtering. So, but it's similar like this. And therefore, the Torah took this idea and changed it based on the way that you bring korbanot, right? And the Torah focused that on the Mishkan, which is the tabernacle, and then later on to Beit HaMikdash. And therefore, the Torah came and defined to us what is when you need to do so. Thank you for coming. When do you need to do so? How you need to do it, and so on and so forth. But the actual concept of korbanot, according to the Rambam, it seems like it's somewhat technical, and maybe even for in the future, once we completely are rooted that belief in took this idol worshipping issue from the, so maybe Bichlal altogether will pass from this world. That's according to the Rambam.
Wow.
However, if you compare the Rambam, Ephraim, Chulent, beer, if you compare the Rambam to the Ramban, Nachmanides, not Maimonides, he holds that there is a tremendous essence here in the whole concept of the korbanot, and that essence that came to educate the people. You see, both of them said it's the same thing about education, but it's a different type of education. Is really to educate us and to make us understand that for a wrongdoing you'll have to pay. You did a sin, you did something wrong, you'll have to pay for it. And when you actually bring the sacrifice, right? If you actually bring the sacrifice, is like you brought an atonement for the action that you did that was bad, right? So that's substitute for that. And for every part of the animal that is being brought as a sacrifice, right? The Ramban gives a different explanation why the kerev or the ksalim and this and that, and each one has a different one, which is really a mystical explanation that kind of connects between the spirit of the person to the spirit that caused him to do the act, the wrong thing, and therefore that becomes an atonement for whatever we did, right? So. And it says, and I'm quoting, "V'yoter ra'ui lishmo atam shomrim bahem." It's very appropriate to hear the reason they say, "Ki ba'avu shema'aseh bnei adam nigmarim b'machshava u'bedibur," right? Since the actions of humans are concluded. I mean, first of all, you have to think about it, right? And then you actually have to, you have to talk about it, and then you actually do it, right? HaKadosh Baruch Hu comes and commends us that when a person brings a korban, he's going to put his hands on the animal itself, right? And he's going to, right? So that's the action. Then he's going to confess with his heart, right? And he does the whole confession of the heart. And later on, it burns in the fire, the kerev and the klayot, right? And that's where they thought that really the thought of the person is generated, right? So that's going to burn like this, and that's kind of completes the cycle of the atonement, right? So now, if we're talking about the heart and so on and so forth, the klayot, because we said musar klayot, right? We're talking about that, so that will be it. If we're talking about the kraim, right? Of the animals, it's for the hands and the legs of the person who actually lead you to these things, and then the dam, when they do the zrikat dam on the mizbeach, that's keneged the dam nafsho, that you mitchayev yourself, right? Mm-hmm. So, and this is done for the person really to think, right, that he basically sinned with all those limbs in his body. It wasn't just like, oh, I don't know what my head was thinking. Your legs took you to this place, and we said raglayim memaarot, larutz, So it's the same thing as we say when we say siyum masechet. Hem ratzim, we are running, they are running, right, and so on and so forth. So, as much as you should run to Dvar Mitzvah, you ran to do Dvar Avera. So for that, there's going to be a certain thing that's going to atone for that. And it is appropriate for, as a hint for you, for you to sin against Dam, you sin against God. So therefore, instead of your blood being so-called burned, right? So you burn the blood of the animal, and that's supposed to make you think that you did something you did something wrong. Because if it wasn't for the kindness of mercy of God that was willing to, it's not you bringing it, it's God willing to accept it. That's right, right? And therefore the atonement of the korban is to come to atone for you, as we say. Nefesh tachat nefesh, dam tachat dam, this for this, right, and so on and so forth. This, Isn't
kaparot kind of similar to that, like whenever the people do with the actual chicken?
No, the chicken is darkei mori. The kaparot of the chicken is darkei mori. That has nothing to do with that. That's something you go watch videos about what they do in Africa. It's exactly kaparot. It's darkei mori. Don't even bring close to that. Don't even put it in the same sentence in terms of that. Now, every society or every organization, right? Whether you are working for, you're working for the army, or you're working for Google, or you are a part of, Hells Angels, or Mongols. Every organization, every society, define to themselves a set of rules. You have a set of rules, right? In the MC culture, in the motorcycle world, there's the bylaws in which you are commanded to do, and you have to obey to them. And in a society as, let's say, for example, America, we have the Constitution and the interpretation of the Constitution. You can't just do things around it. You can, for example, bring laws from Europe and say, okay, well, in Europe they're ruled like this, so in America it should be the same thing. If it is against your Constitution, you can't do that, right? That's because we all agree to become or to live in America, and therefore by agreeing that, our obligation is to the Constitution. Otherwise you're creating an anarchy. It's funny, I saw a cartoon the other day. Somebody sent me a cartoon. He said, you see, a son is, the father is reading a newspaper, and a little child next to him, and he says, Daddy, I want to work for organized crime when I grow up. So the father said to him, government or private sector? Yeah, well,
Same thing.
It's the same thing. But so why am I saying? Because even in an outlaw organization, let's say like the mafia, they have their own rules. Yeah, they have their own set of rules. Any group of people has its own rules in which they define, which are almost like internal laws. And the intent of this, the reason for that, is not the rules themselves. It's not the rules themselves, but but rather, how should I say it? But small, almost insignificant technical parts in it. If you do this, it's this, and so on. The rule is not itself, right? those rules that they set were really meant to reflect certain principles. It's not just like technical stuff, as I just said to you, whatever it is. There's a reason for that. It's not just technical things that it's meaningless. Those rules reflect on the society or to this organization itself. You need to look at those organizations, you need to look at the rules, you can learn a lot about the society. A lot. Now, so it reflects certain values, certain principles, certain ideas in which the society is supposed to live by. And it will reflect on them, on how they live their lives. Right? They have their so-called code of honor or whatever that is, right? Now, again, every organization has their own set of rules. So now, the idea that goes behind those rules, right, is as I said, it reflects on the organization itself, and therefore, if you implement those rules by stepping on the values, you implement the rules, but you are diverting from the spirit of what the rules were made for, right? So what will happen, right? Those rules are worth nothing, and for sure are not going to achieve their goals. For example, let's say you are a part of some kind of a crime organization, and they have the rules, argument's sake, we don't snitch. Oh, we don't, as they said, the organization over everything, right? There's an opener there, Ribi. There's an opener. So, if all of a sudden you decided to be a law-abiding citizen when it comes to a crime organization, the whole organization is going to fall apart, right? Or the other way around. If you are a policeman, that they have their own set of rules, if you decided to keep the rules, but not keeping the spirit of the rules, all the principles of the rules, you are basically making them ineffective, purposeless. And it's very important to us as well. It is very, very important to us. So you can find a good example for that in the concept of the korbanot, of bringing the sacrifice. All this korbanot, of course, which started in this week's parasha. When you do the korban, comes the Jew and he takes a behemah, he takes an animal, right, or some kind of representation from the plants, whether it's solet or anything like that. When we're talking about korban mincha, so we bring the kemach and the shemen and so on and so forth, and then he brings them in front of God in Beit HaMikdash. But the idea that goes behind the korban is not the slaughter of the animal, but on the contrary, rather some form of a connection and a yearning of men towards God. Because I understand that when I did the averah, when I did the sin, I kind of put, as they say, I put daylight between me and God. And I'm very upset at this distance that occurred because of my actions. Therefore, I'm seeking closeness to come close to God, and that's why I'm bringing the korban. I'm bringing this offering. So, from that reason, Sefer Baal HaKedah explains, because it says the following: we see the Nevi'im, the prophets of Am Yisrael, at the end of the time of the first temple, and they're rebuking Am Yisrael that they left the values, the spiritual values, they go behind the korban. They left it. And even though that they are doing, they bring in the korbanot, they bring in the sacrifices, they're doing all these things, right? Which in the action of bringing the korban, it was done perfect. It was done perfect.
It became second nature.
Excuse me?
It became second nature.
It not only becomes, it became, oh, you bring in a very nice point. It became technical. It became an external action without any internal purpose to it. It's technical. Now, the value that stood behind those korbanot, behind those actions, was not there present. It was not present at all. It was empty of any meaning, any purpose. It was just plain action, completely external. And even so what did it say? What HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to them through the Navi, Ola v'zevach lo chafatzti. I don't need this korbanot. God says to them, I don't need this. What do you think? I'm some kind of a freak that likes barbecue? What do you think? I like this. Why do I need this? What do you think? You're going to buy me with these actions? You don't care about it. You think, by the way, you should know that. We thought that we do the korbanot, it's all good. That's it, it's done. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, you guys, you don't understand that. I sent you prophets. You don't understand that? You don't understand. You don't want to hear what the prophet says. You know what? I'm going to take away Beit HaMikdash from you. No more temple for you. Out. Yep. Until you're going to understand. The Mikdash was so central in the essence of Am Yisrael. You have to understand what does it mean not to have a Beit HaMikdash. The whole Judaism was different. Everything was about the Mikdash. But you guys don't understand that? What do you think? You could petition me, you could bribe me with your korbanot. I don't need this. You don't understand, I'll take it away. Okay. We went through about 400 years of without. All right, let's build it again. Well, build it again. All right, God gives you permission to build it again. What happened? Same thing. Same thing. We didn't learn. We didn't learn. And then what happened? It was taken away from us. But this time, it's your strike two. Now you got to work hard. Now you got to sit down and assess what was the reason that it was taken away from me. Fix it.
No, we'll talk.
And then we'll talk. And then we'll talk. Beit HaMikdash is not going to be built while we're going to play sheshbesh and eat barbecue, sitting with a white beater and shorts with a big gold chain like this, going like this. Oh, look at this! Is this a bird? Is this a plane? No, it's Beit HaMikdash flying. That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Some people think that's going to happen.
People think, okay, that's right. Not everybody was born with Some people want everything to be done, right? We were talking about this today. What did Shlomo HaMelech say to us? There's some people, where he said, he done? Mishlei. Some people are so lazy, even though the food is right in front of them, they would not reach out to put it in their mouth. They want somebody else to feed them. It's not going to happen. You want something? Go ahead and get it. Get up and do something. You really care so much about, and what do you think? HaKadosh Baruch Hu did mercy with us. He gave us an ability to go back to the land after we haven't, been sovereign. The Jews were always, they never left the land of Israel. And I'm going to tell you something else also. Let me just take this opportunity and explain to you something. Now, you could look, if you know how to look, you can look at the Ottomans, the Turks, the Ottomans, ruled that region for, about 500, 600, 700 years. So there are records. Until the Jews did not start to come in great numbers back to the land, there were always Jews in the land of Israel. But the Jews that were in Israel, there was no such thing as Palestinians. It's hoax. There was no such thing. You know who were in Israel? There were Arabs, there were Jews, there were Hindus, there were a lot of Christians. I mean, the funniest thing is, there was at the time more Christians than Muslims in the land of Israel. But the problem was, if you didn't change your way, you would be killed. More Christians were killed, but hey, nobody says anything about it. Where did all the numbers, all the Muslims came to Israel? What they called their Palestinians? I gotta tell you this straight out. They came because they were migrant workers. They were migrant workers. They came in because job opportunity had started to develop in that country, in that region, when all the Jews started to come. So there's no difference between what the Muslims did, at the beginning of the 20th century to what they're doing today. They are migrant workers, no more than that. And they came from Iraq. At the time, there was no Iraq, by the way. There was no Saudi Arabia. There were a bunch of Bedouins that came in and settled down. It's a bunch of hoax that they sell you. But the problem is you guys don't learn anything. And when you get your information from Instagram or TikTok, that's what it looks like. You got to know the truth and should not be apologetic about the truth. Should not be apologetic about the truth. So God did mercy with us. He gave us the land back, an authority an ability to be autonomous, because until that point we were not autonomous. The British mandate for that region that's called Israel was given that to establish a homeland for the Jews. Don't let anybody tell you this different. You know what happened in that region when the Allies won World War I and they pushed the Ottomans back into Turkey? Set down the French and the English, and they set with a map, and they started to divide. If you look at the region, the whole thing is like lines here, lines there. They basically took a ruler. Okay, give it like this, give it like this. This is how they create the kingdom of Saudi Arabia. This is how they create the kingdom of Jordan. And every chieftain, they made him a king. It was a sheikh. There was the Bedouin tribes. Hashemites are Bedouins. The same thing with Iraq. The same thing with Egypt. And all the problems in the world today is mainly because of England and France and European, colonialism. That's basically it. Excuse me?
Like when Ottomans.
Yes, because they left a vacuum and they decided, okay, let's divide it. That's why in Syria and Lebanon they spoke more French than English, because that was a part of French, and that's why in Israel and with Jordan, whatever. And by the way, what they called the West Bank was changed, because originally it was not called the West Bank. In the beginning it was called Transjordan. But they realized, Transjordan, okay, we can't do this because we have Arab oil, so let's call it the West Bank. That's what it was. So we have the land, and we need to make sure that we're doing exactly what HaKadosh Baruch Hu asks us. And that's the machloket, and that's what comes from the essence of korbanot, as the Ramban brings us. Again, the Rambam, Maimonides says one thing, for him is it more technical. The Rambam actually gives us a deeper look for that. And the Navi says, when Bnei Israel brought this korbanot, they think like God likes a heavenly barbecue, right? And don't get me wrong, I don't know if it was Texas style or it was Kansas style or whatever it was. God says, listen, I didn't ask it for you. Mi bikeshot miadchem remos chatzerai. Who asked you to come and trample on my house? Who asked you to come here? I didn't ask you to come here. I give you permission. I didn't ask you to come. You're not doing me a favor. Shlomo HaMelech, that he himself built the first temple, wrote, right? Aset tzedakah u'mishpat nivchar leHashem mizbeach, right? Right? You have to instead of just building an altar that you think you're going to bring a heavenly barbecue, the altar for God is doing mishpat, justice, and being honest. That's what God wants you. God doesn't want barbecues. God wants you to be an honest person. To have a judicial system where there are laws and there is order. Right? And it says, yes, so the rules were implemented, but the ideas were not really internalized. Why are we doing this? Okay, we need to do this. Okay, just do it like this. And we need to remember as the same thing as when you are, let's say, leading an organization, and for that matter, even your own home, because each one in his own home, they have their own rules. Every family has its own rules. Some family has, if you cook, you don't clean. Everybody has different reasons. Everybody has these rules, right? So, but when you are leading, right, and also when you're also leading yourself, there's no doubt whatsoever that there's great importance to the rules themselves. But it's much more critical and much more important to make sure that those principles are actually saturated with your actions, and believe me, this is true up to the smallest details. You can't say, oh, that's okay, that's like not important, let's skip this. Those principles of justice, of whatever it is that we define, has to be meticulously observed and executed, not just the technicality of how to do things. We have to be very careful. It's very interesting to see, for example, well, at least it was, and I'm sure by some people, how dear the American Constitution is for them, and how much they're actually trying to do so. And you really see that there are certain elements in American society that like to uproot and even distort the Constitution. And in a way, these elements are the one who actually hurt the American spirit, and as a return, hurt us as a nation, as a group of people that live here. We need to remember that. So now, for example, if we let's talk about, you go to a bar, right? They have what is so called the happy hour, right? I'm not saying you should go to a bar. There's the happy hour in the bar, right? Or maybe you're giving a gift, a birthday gift to one of your workers, right? If that becomes just a regular technical thing, Benny, it's your birthday. Happy birthday! Here, take the envelope. Just happy birthday. I don't even smile. Just a happy birthday. Right? Those things lose all the meaning. And I think you might know where I'm going with this. It doesn't make It doesn't make a difference what you give, more of, let's just say it, how you give. How you give. The korbanot, if we're talking about, listen, you know what, before we go to the korbanot, you go to a wedding. Do you really want to go to a wedding? There is a wedding. Do you really want to go because you really care about the joy of whatever this guy is getting married to that one?
To that one.
Most of them is like, oh my God, I have to go to a wedding again. I'm tired. I had a hard job. I had a rough day today. I don't want to go to a wedding. And I have to bring a gift. I don't know. I have to bring like $500. I can buy. I don't want. So you're going there, and what do? You put on your fake smile, like this, a very fake smile, and you don't really care. And you look at everybody, and all of a sudden you say, my goodness, everybody is like faking here. The whole joy is fake. People are dancing, they don't really care. Why am I a part of this? Or if you're going to do, comforting a mourner, right? They care. So, okay, I'll go. He came to me, so I have to go to him also. You don't share his pain. You don't care about anything. So you're doing the mitzvah, right? Or some people say, oh, why did you go? I want to do the mitzvah. What do you want to do the mitzvah? Because you want to get a little sticker, a little check mark. It's like anything else that we do. I want to just, all your life looks like a sheet of paper with check marks. I did this, check. Now it doesn't make a difference even if you get married. It's all about also check. You don't know why you're getting married. You don't care about this. And if it was up to you, you probably would not get married. And the same thing when you're coming and you put filling on. Do you, for example, when you come to shul in the morning, how many people come to shul in the morning? How many people?
15, 20.
Out of I don't know what, 150, 200 people?
More.
Well, why happened to Lucky? Listen, if I don't come and he doesn't come, the whole community is going to fall apart. Why don't you get off your whatever it is, just go to shul. Tell them, listen guys, do me a favor, I really want to come. So don't make a minyan shacharit an hour and a half. Just say, you know what? For Sfaradim, let's put it this way, 45 minutes is more than enough to pray. We don't need to do chazanut and stop with the selling, okay, aliyat shlishim, enough with this, come on already. Just make it, I love the minyanim in Israel. There's a certain minyan during the war. I was in Israel, you couldn't go. So I usually go to Hanetz minyan by Sfaradim. It's like, Chatzei Yom Kippur over there. But I went to Ashkenazi minyan, and you know what? I actually fell in love with this. 30 minutes. from Birkot HaShachar until Alil L'Shabeach, with 7 minutes Shmona Esrei inside. To the point. You know what? Why do we have to drag it? Why? I mean, if you need to have like a whole bunch of captive audience and you run it, you know what? Do me a favor, go get therapy, and then just. But I need to understand this is my responsibility as well. I need to go. I need to appreciate. I'm not just, why do you do it for yourself, or do you really care about the person? Oh, I want to do the mitzvah, so I'm coming. I don't need you to come and do a mitzvah on my back. Do you care about me? Do you care about my simcha? Do you care about my pain? Do you care about my gain, or do you care about my loss? Do you care at all? Do you care about anything besides yourself? That's what happened with the korbanot. People became technical. I'm doing the mitzvah. I don't care about anything else. It's all about me. That selfishness scares God away. When you are selfish, when you are not willing to contribute anything from yourself, God says, I don't want to be with a guy like this. Because God is all about giving, endless giving, endless giving. So, we can't be like God because we can generate anything. But whatever God gives you, share it with people. I'm not saying now text the rich and give and it's not just text the rich, it's make the poor even poorer, right? That's usually what happens with these people. I'm not talking about this. You have skills. You have a word. You see your friend down. Don't give him a check for now $1,000. Just sit down with him. Have a cup of coffee with him. Call him over for a beer. Have a drink with him at home. Go somewhere. Sit down with him. Go care about him. And now you wonder why everybody sits on alone. Do you wonder why our community is falling apart? Do you want to know why things look the way they look? It's because we don't care about anything besides ourselves. Is that going to give me a ticket to heaven or not? I'm not sure you're going to be going to heaven like that. I'll be honest with you. And that's why we should not even judge those who are not Shomer Shabbat or Shomer Mitzvot. Because if they do things because they really care, I am not God. But probably in the eyes of God, it's more important that you are doing the mitzvot and you don't care. Because of people like you, we lost the Bet HaMikdash. Because of people that knew better and didn't care. Think about that. And that's what the korbanot comes to really teach us. The korbanot come to teach us that, and the korbanot came to teach us to take responsibility for your actions. You messed up, you fix it. That's what it comes to teach us. To turn the person into a better person. Not to bribe God with barbecue. To make you into a better person. To look at things better. And it's very appropriate to give it a thought, and an emotional thought also that has to do with your emotions, with your common sense, for all those moments, right? If somebody is making a simcha, or somebody chas v'shalom is lost somebody, again, it's not enough for you to fulfill your duty. I did what I need to do. I did, it's not enough, right? It's not enough just to give him a gift or to say, I'm sorry. How do people say it? Condolences. My condolences. Take it and smoke in your condolences. Do you really care? Because you know what?
What should you say?
What?
What should you say?
Sometimes you shouldn't say anything. Sometimes you should just sit with him and just say, listen, is there anything I can do for you? Listen, after everybody goes, don't come there, and people do it a lot. People know the arguments. Let's say most people come to visit, let's say after work, right? Don't make sure that you are there. Go to visit when nobody is there. Go visit like at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, but most people are not there. Get it out of your business. Leave your work one time. Take half a day off to really care about your friend. Say, well, you're not working? No, I'm working, but I came here to visit you. Listen, buddy, is there anything you need? Anything you need? I'm here for you. I'm here for you. You need anything? Even finish with these arguments, finish with the Yeshiva, and then, let's grab a cup of coffee. Let's just, I'm here for you, man. Because you really care. Because if not, you're saying, I did Nichum Avelim. Questions later. I did Nichum Avelim. Check. I did Simchat Chatan Vekala. That's Simchat Chatan Vekala? That's not. I don't understand that. You don't need to be a genius for that, right? So now, you really need to be humanly sincere and to really express whatever he's going through, to share it with him, to help him out, right? And so is, let's say, for example, you have here, Yonatan, by your office, I'm sure they have, a Worker of the Year award, right? Or whatever it is, right? Agent of the whatever it is, right? So the ceremony itself is not going to give you the appropriate effect on that, right? It's not going to also express the internal values of the job, or which it's supposed to represent, right? You need to really be sincere about it. And today I'm going to tell you something else. In our generation, that you have all this like texts, how do you call it? Telegram, Instagram, SMS, whatever you like this, whether it's Zoom. People said to me, Rabbi, why don't you do Zoom? I said, no, I'm not doing Zoom. On COVID, we did Zoom. I'm not doing that. It's important to you, you come here. You're not, it's not important to you. It's not important to me. You should know that you had a chance. So when you said to somebody, right, just text. Oh, sorry for your loss. That's another one. Sorry for your loss. Text. Sorry for your loss. Rabbi, can I do Nichum Avelim through the telephone? Rabbi, can I do Bikur Cholim through the telephone? So technically, the answer is yes. Practically, you're beating the purpose. Might as well don't do anything, and know that you did it. Also, when you have AI come now and substitute human interaction, right? A person, beforehand you had a problem, you had no friends to talk to, you're all alone, or you're afraid to tell your friends, whatever it is, I don't know, whatever you have, skeletons you have in your closet. So you go to a shrink. Today, people don't go to a shrink. I go to AI, right? Dear AI, somebody sent me this amazing thing on, I won't say the name because but it takes, like for example, you have a toothache, right? And it's on ChatGPT. I'm not going to say it. What's the name of it? And it tells you it makes like a tragic story out of it, like they do in the news. It's ridiculous. I mean, it's unbelievable. So today, instead of having a friend, you have AI, you have Siri, you have Alexa, ChatGPT, everything. You don't need a friend, right? So, but you should know that this kind of behavior, it's a very, very, it's a slippery slope. I mean, it's very dangerous, very, very dangerous. And because of that, you might actually lose those virtues and values and the feeling of identity that you could actually identify with other members of your organization, whether it's your society or your workplace or your gangster club or whatever it is. You're going to lose that I don't feel belong anymore. Because somebody might tell you, you might share something. Somebody say, listen, man, what are you thinking is wrong? This is not right the way to do so. You ask the ChatGPT, he will tell you, I don't know, whatever you want. He'll agree with whatever you want. So you're losing that human interaction, which is really bad. And that requires a lot of work, and it's very intensive, and it's very committing. You have to commit yourself to be a part of something. You need to commit yourself to be a part of a yeshiva. You need to commit yourself to be a part of the shul. And what?
Friend group, maybe.
Anything. But just sending, I hate when people send me also, forwarded. Somebody says to me, it's the funniest thing, right? The funniest thing. Somebody sends me something, pretending to be like top secret, like he has connections, whatever. Says, please, I'm sharing this with you, but don't share it with everybody. It's really secretive. I look at the top. It says forwarded many times. I said, buddy, you not forwarded many times. Oops, I didn't realize. When I guess you can forward it. Okay.
He sent you a separate message saying this.
Yes, absolutely. So now, right? So it's very easy to send a text saying Mazal Tov, or to say how you doing. It's a little bit more difficult to really be concerned and say really how you doing. To pick up the phone, sit down and talk to someone. I was talking to somebody recently. I haven't spoken to them in a long time. Speaking to him recently. And today I got a text from them. It says, listen, the conversation we had, you should know, was really charged me up, really gave me hope to continue going, not to lose hope. And I was like, said to myself, I didn't say nothing, just talking. But I was just there for the person at that moment. That was it. We talked about nothing. Nothing of the sky is falling. But just so the person had somebody to talk to that charged them up. And he was able to continue. He said, listen, you have no idea. I feel like my batteries are charged. It's unbelievable. But you should really care about the person. Really care about the person. The funniest thing is, you get used to so much not caring and to have people not caring for you, that if finally somebody comes and starts caring for you, you reject them, you push them away. It's just unbelievable to me, right? So next time somebody really cares for you, you should really be extremely grateful and extremely thankful, because you didn't do it. He went out of his way for you. So now, you should really ask questions to show the person that you really care. You really care. Not like, how you doing, Ariel? Yidan, how you doing? How you? This is it's not like it is. You don't really care. Like, come to the side. Let's talk for 1 second. Everything is okay. School is going. You're applying to law school. Right? You applying to law school? Why not applying to law school? You should apply to law school. Don't go to finance. Finance. Go to law school. Yes. Now the technology is built by people. Technology is built by people, right? People are not built by technology. And the ability to really to be able to dwell deep and to ask questions and to really show that you really care, really important, right? It depends only on us. It's up to you. If you're going to be superficial, and again, that's why I said you should not be introverted. Learn to reach out to people. Don't only have a conversation. For example, like the person who sits like this in the corner, all by himself, waiting for somebody to come to talk to him, and only talks if somebody talks to him. And it's also like, go outside, be. I say, how you doing? Is everything okay? Shake somebody's hand, say hello.
So important.
What? Very important, right? And I'm going to tell you something else. If you think you're going to be holy by acting weird, you're not. You're going to be weird. The weird is weird, right? If you're going to be superficial, you should know like this, especially when you have friends or you have workers. If you're going to be superficial for them, they in return will be superficial to you. Whether it's your workers, whether it's your, whatever it is. Let's say you have a worker, he has a dying mother or something like this. Say, listen, it's okay. Go early. No, I really need the money. Say, no, it's okay. I'll pay you for the day. Just go. He'll hold you with gratitude. And even if he doesn't, that's his choice. But you chose to be the right person. You chose to be the big man. You need to act according to that. And it's very important for us to peel those husks, to peel those klipot, and to really being able to expose the real depth that we all have. The depth of our organization that we're at, whether it's our faith, whether it's this country, whether it's a family, we need to really go down and really reveal the values of our society, of our organization, and to bring this organization, whatever this entity that we're working for. Again, it doesn't make a difference if it's you yourself, your family, your workplace, congregation, city, state, and so on and so forth, to really bring it to a level of depth and a vision and values, and to create true, but really true commitment. Because without commitment, you can't build anything. It would all fall apart. Unfortunately, what is happening in our society is no commitment to the values in which this society was based on, and it would all fall apart. And it goes through the same thing to your society as a frum Jew. If you don't enhance those values and stay committed to them, in other words, you cannot wear a kippah and act like an animal in 7-Eleven. You can't. Because that will be to you, as they say, life is what you put into it. You get from life what you put into it. You plant potatoes, you're going to get potatoes. You're not going to plant potatoes and get artificial diamonds. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So if things are bad around, this is how you fix it. This is how you fix it. We have a lot of work, right, guys? And especially comes with your attitude towards Pesach. We're going to be cleaning for Pesach like crazy next week. You know, some of us already started, right? Do yourself a favor. In terms of really living up to what things should be, don't complain about cleaning. And I'm going to tell you something else. Don't let somebody else clean. Don't blame a cleaning crew to clean for you. Have the importance of coming in and doing it yourself. Fall in love and put meaning. Use that cleaning for Pesach as hard toil work. Learn to put meaning in that.
Is it considered mitzvah if you clean yourself?
Absolutely. Yeah, and more than the mitzvah. Even if it wasn't a mitzvah, I'm going to tell you, this is how you build a proper attitude. We were giving the zchut to have Passover. Do not complain about it. But once you complain, it gives you a right or an entitlement to betray what everything good it stands for. So don't complain. Stay loyal to it. Roll your sleeves. And Bezat Hashem, this is how we're going to bring salvation to the world. Not only to us, to the whole entire world. Shabbat Shalom and Chodesh Tov.
Amen.